We have gone live. How y'all doing today? Today is June 14th, Tuesday, 2016. And I'm doing this because I thought there's something I should have been doing a long time ago. It's something I've been doing in my personal life, and that is speaking and sharing affirmations. Sorry about that. Speaking and sharing affirmations and sharing love and just being real as fuck with people around me. And always trying to be a positive reflection of those around me and calling a purposeful attention to positivity and being affirming and sharing a unique space with others. Above all else, though, while I do this with in mind many others, I do this because oftentimes these are the thoughts and words that I've needed for myself. These are the things that I've always wanted people to share with me. And it just got to a point where I said, you know what, I'm tired of asking. And so I decided to do one of these things I have right here on my wall. I'm gonna share it with you. It says, it says, do something or be someone today that your future self will thank you for. Um, and I also have another one on an opposing wall that says to be the energy that you wish to receive in the world. And so I try my best to make a positive reflection of myself by being exactly that. And so in an attempt to have prayers not just for Orlando, but for all of the queer communities of color, the transgender communities of color, the performance communities of color, just all these broad intersecting identities which were gathered there that night in Orlando, and those who are as a result affected by losing so many community leaders, shepherds, guidance, losing our entertainers, losing people who brought us wealth, who brought us attention, who brought us care, people who just supported the community by being the best of themselves. Um, that affects a lot of us in a lot of important ways, which I believe we need to identify before the effects of it start to simply manifest without our recognition of why we are so affected. Because going back to Sakia Gunn, she was murdered. I was probably within the age range of 14 to 17 years old because I can't remember the exact year that it happened. So actually, I'm going to look it up right now. Um, this person was murdered in 2003, and they were 15-year-old. They were a lesbian, and who was also masculine presenting, and they were essentially murdered because they ignored the advancements of a male. So in 2003, I was 14, I believe, and I had just got into high school. And this is around the time that I really started to embrace the fact that I was really into having a masculine presentation. And this is also the breeding ground where a lot of attention is brought towards the sexes and gender identity and expression and dating and romance and, all of these things. And that had such an effect on my psyche to where anytime I was out in public with my femme friends who were honestly quite always very attractive, I was always afraid for them and myself because there were men who would say, well, you want to look like a man, I'm going to treat you like one. I was all of 14 years old. They would say that they will try and make us, even some of them will try and make sexual advances. Well, I'm going to fix you. That's not sexual. That's rape. No, honestly, that's sexual harassment. That's not a sexual advancement. That's unwanted attention. Especially if I tell you no. So I'm going to fix you. You're just undercover. You just don't know who hurt you. All these assumptions about my emotional and mental health based on the fact that I liked to wear baggier clothes because it fit my lifestyle. I was athletic. And this was before skinny jeans that were comfortable. So it had such an effect on my psyche for a very long time that I didn't really feel comfortable discussing or sharing with other people, especially my femme friends, because of the fact that my presentation mirrored masculinity, and I was also someone who was quiet, not cocky, but confident, and I was well composed. So it's breaking down that barrier of, well, look, I'm not always okay was sometimes a little difficult because a lot of people didn't really understand that type of vulnerability, even in my masculinity as a female identified and assigned person. Excuse me. So, all that being said, though, I should have opened up to people. I should have opened up to my mother. I should have opened up to my parents. I should have opened up to, a broader community and sought help to understand the feelings that I was experiencing, which kind of, in many ways, kept me in a closet about my humanity, my sense of empathy towards those events, and also the fact that we were very much the same. I cut my hair when I was 15, 16. When I was between 15 and 16, I cut my hair. So when I saw that story about gun, I thought that could very well be me. And there were times where I was attacked because of my presentation, and because of the differences between the norms and the roles that I was living in. But so all that being said, though, I am opening up this space to anyone who shall enter. Even if you don't, and you see this after the fact when I'm no longer recording, you are still welcome to share any of your thoughts. You're welcome to share any affirmations you need to offer. There are a lot of us who do wish to receive words of kindness, of acknowledgement, of love and praise and healing and worthiness. And sometimes it's difficult to really articulate that we might be needing these things. A lot of people are reaching out to others in the community. Let's not forget the people who are reaching out and contacting us and saying, hey, how are you taking this? They need that same concern as well from you. So don't hesitate to share that space, and open it up and say, this is what I need to be acknowledged right now as I stand here in front of you. So I want to create this for those in Orlando, but also for the broader community to say that, I stand with you. You're not alone in the feelings that you are experiencing of anger, of immense fear, of the tension, of the worry, of disappointment, and those who are celebrating such heinous events. Um, the confusion of where do I go to, of wanting to seek spiritual comfort but not knowing where to receive it, and and knowing you can enter into a spiritual space without judgment, without um, risk of further traumatization, because there is a deep history of trauma in communities of color and the spiritual and religious realms. So I understand and I stand with you in saying that there are people out there who are praying for you, who are asking for angels to come down for you, who are asking for you and your best self to show up for you right now in this experience. And as you continue to walk forward on this earth and all of the feelings and thoughts that you are experiencing right now. And for those who are not there but who are affected by it, whether you are straight, whether you are conforming or non-conforming, binary or not, I understand that you too can share in that pain. Particularly, there might be a difference in the way that you experience it, but I understand that there is empathy that affects you. When someone else is hurt, you hurt. And I personally thank you for your recognition of humanity. It's not something everyone is willing to do. It's something I believe many of us are capable of, but some people choose not to. They've made their minds up in that way. So I thank you for making the choice to being open to others, regardless of the inconsistencies of the roads upon which you may travel. So here I am. I am wanting to speak affirmations in remembrance of who we are as spiritual beings and remembering who we are as humans. Every day that I wake, I don't do anything. I just lay in bed. I might even fall back to sleep. That's why I set a lot of alarms, but I wake up and imagine, I visually imagine, or I use audio to, imagine the audio, or I imagine the feeling, the sensation, or the vibration, whatever gives me a sense of humility that I am okay. That although some of my experiences may seem ugly, especially those of the past, and fear of what comes forth, what is in front of me, although some things may appear to be ugly, just like me, when I don't have understanding of others and to them I appear ugly, that which I'm registered as ugly just means that I have not reached that eye to eye level of understanding. I have not yet reached that level of acceptance in myself to be non-threatened and to be non-threatening towards that which I do not understand, and have not yet opened myself enough to receive fully, without judgment, without fear, um, and without warning. Sometimes we feel better with a warning, but we can't always, everything can't be accounted for prior to its reception. Um, I remind myself that I'm okay. I imagine myself being surrounded by light, by love. I purposely seek out examples of light and love, and sometimes I'm going through such a pessimistic period that I really can't draw from examples, although they are there. But sometimes I am so in need and in wanting that I just remember, okay, I've offered light and love, so I therefore possess light and love, and because of that, light and love is available to me in myself. I am a resource for myself to create and put to possess and to give light and love. I am confident by the fact that I possess that resourcefulness. And I remember, although I might not be the exact manifestation of how I imagine light and love to appear, I am that. I am light and love. I am self manifested. So I need not worry. I need not fear of a lack. When I am that thing I wish to see in the world, I am that thing I wish to perceive. I am that thing I wish to see change in the world. Like I say, be the change you wish to see in the world. I make a constant habit of that so that I can't sit around and say, oh, nobody's doing this and everybody's doing that. I have to be that example so I can say, you know what, but I am. I am that. So how can I say it doesn't exist if I am that exact thing which I am criticizing, you know? And that brings me comfort to be what I believe in my vision is a better version of love in the world. Um, every day I am aware that I'm embarking on a journey, and this journey has no particular markers for what I might make of myself going down these roads and experiencing life through so many different perspectives and in so many realms. And I just remind myself I was going through a period, and I still do this, but I have flashcards of affirmations and thoughts that I would like to think about myself. And regardless of how I feel, every once in a while, I will pick up these cards and just look through them so that I can study and train myself to remember these are reminders that although I might not, actively remember these words subconsciously, that process has been there. So just like you might have learned dance steps when you were 5 years old, like you learned the running man when it was going out of style. But if you tried it again today, you have some type of framework and some basis to understanding what this dance is and how to perform it. So it's easier to recall. So every once in a while, I will pick up these cards. I will write new ones. I write so much. Um, I have so many journals and books lying around of positive thinking, of affirming myself, of revisiting my past and speaking directly to that person I was in those moments and saying the words that I needed to hear because I recognize that going forward, some of that has not healed. And experiencing trauma such as seeing Sakia Gun, I apologize if I'm not saying the name right, Sakia Gun, um, seeing the trauma of knowing that gay guy at my school, who everyone calls a fag, just got attacked by some guys and beat over the back of the head, back of his head with a rake in middle school, just because of the fact that he was effeminate. Speaking to myself when I was at that age and experience with, witnessing the the scars on his head and the laughter that ceased after that point, because it was no longer funny to make fun of him for being gay, for being feminine, for being everything that he was, which is just fabulous. It was no longer funny. And I saw the changes on my peers, and a lot of my peers' faces when they saw the culmination of the violence he experienced just because he was a little different. By that point, it was no longer funny. I don't know how things personally changed around him because of that, but I just noticed I heard less from the people around me trying to make fun of him for his effeminates. But I had to talk to that 13-year-old child that I was to say that wasn't okay. You know, I guess this when things like that happen, they offer peer counseling. But I guess it wasn't enough of an event to say, hey, let's go talk to these kids about, queerness. But um, I needed comfort in that moment. It wasn't me who experienced that, but I needed comfort. And so I will write to myself as that 13-year-old child to say, this is what you were thinking. This is what you witnessed. This is what you wished you had saw but didn't see from the adults in your life, from the people who had power and authority who did nothing, who didn't wish to acknowledge how traumatic that fear and the attacks that this person experienced and the terror that it caused you and other people who you consider your peers. They didn't address that, but I'm addressing it for you now. And I'm doing that because of you at 13, because of you at 25, and because of the other people around you at all ages who are experiencing these traumatic events, either directly or through empathy, who don't know how to be settled within themselves and to reconciliate those thoughts and those feelings and to come to a place of a sense of peace and spirituality, because so much is unsettled in all of those areas. Um, so I would do that. I have to do that work, and I think it should be more encouraged for all of us to partake in that kind of work, and to address, that which lives in our subconscious and recreates themselves in our present day fears. Um, so here's the first one. I'm hoping I say something that affects somebody in a positive way. You can make it if you trust. You can live through it. You already have. Decide to win. This is because I love Marsha Ambrosia. She has a song from her album Lovers and Friends, which I don't know who was giving her the good, but they was giving her the good. But I needed to remind myself, your love is so good, signed Jay. Because I need to know that, people don't always tell you, but I needed to remind myself of that my love is so good and I appreciate it that way. Um, you will not lose when you know that you have yourself and God, who has you and all of you. Again, decide to win. Why say God has you and all of you, huh? I'm not going to answer that. You will find that answer for yourself. And let me say this before I continue. I am not Christian. I'm not even religious. I'm not anti-religious, but I am for the critiquing and dissecting of the history of religion and the purpose of religion and how we are equipping and arming ourselves with religion as a weapon today. I'm all for it. And the same too for spirituality. There are people who try and be malevolent with the idea of spirituality as well. So I'm all for anything you believe in, as long as it does not harm me in practice. So be it. We had differences. I don't care. I had my guy come to me. I was probably about 19 years old. And this is when I decided I wanted to do a lot of dream working, because I also started reading a lot about Buddhism, and also um, doing a lot of breathing, practicing my breathing, which I need to get back into. I'm sure some of you are aware from watching me and listening to me. I started to do a lot of yoga as well. And in my dream, I had this dream that I was traveling, like flying over this great canyon. And there was a guide who came to me, and he said his name was something like Nemec. For you, those of you who watch Dragon Ball Z, you're probably like, ah. But he said his name was something like along the lines of Nemec. He was very thin. Um, he considered himself a medicine man. And I remember there being like not a smoke, but sort of like a steamy smoke. Because it was kind of thick, but it was still extremely thin. It was very vaporized. And he said to me, The God that everyone has, believes in, or identifies with is for them. It is appropriate. It's what they need on their journey. And the same is true for those who lack a God or belief in a God and do not assign the strength of their intelligence to the awareness of a omniscient present being or intelligence. And he said that too is for them on their journey. And he was saying to me for all of this to be respected because we all walk the path that is relevant to us and it's all leading to whatever place it might be leading. But everyone has what they need, and even if they lack something, that so too is a need for where they are in that particular place in their journey. So do not try and interfere with what people identify with and how they use it. Do not try and change people. Do not try and change their ideology. Do not try and change their minds, their hearts. Respect it. All you need to do is acknowledge it, and that so too will provide you with comfort. And so he said that, and it was at a time where I was experiencing a lot of stress about the fact that I identified as atheist, but was growing into my sense of spirituality. And I was very distressed between the dichotomy of lacking religion, but being very spiritual, not necessarily believing in this one omnipresent, omnipotent being, but kind of believing in everything and nothing at the same time. Believing, yes, there are higher, more sentient beings, but also that which does not exist, that which has one body in one uniform location, but also that which is everywhere. Um, Believing in the pits of darkness and the absolute of light. Um, and I was finding reconciling those beliefs to be extremely difficult. And so I was kind of having this fight between physical reality and spiritual reality. And when he said that, I experienced this huge release, this huge let go of emotional energy and trauma, and experienced this inner wisdom, and was allowed to release so much trauma that I experienced around my sense of spirituality, my sense of heroism, my sense of pain, my sense of healing, my sense of acknowledgement. Because at the same time, as I was reading about Buddhism and spirituality, I was also processing a lot of the traumatic experiences I had had in the Christian church. Um, because although my grandmother, she moved around to a lot of different churches, I experienced in many of them the very same traumas, the same pains, the same history. And that was being denied because I wasn't a quote unquote normal child. And I don't mean that in just my presentation and my embodiment, but also in my questioning my mind, my belief, how I carried myself. They saw within me what I'm now recognizing, and they because of that they pin me as an enemy. But that's the thing about growth is some people fear it. And when you talk about something as archaic as the Christian church in the black community, that's not so much an area in which they want to experience change and growth. They want it to stay exactly the way it is, faces fixed up just like that. And I'm not saying that that is universally true, but there is a lot of energy that the queer communities of color possess, which the church needs to allow to grow and prosper visibly in order to help the congregation to move into growth. There is a lot of wisdom which transgender and gender non-conforming and queer people have, which we can offer to churches in order to assist them in their awareness and growth. There's a lot of trauma and pain and blackness that we possess as a multinational community of people of color, but yet we don't want to try and process that trauma and grow. Instead, we continue to re-traumatize ourselves through judgment, through the romantic affair of entertainment, through shucking and jiving. I'm sorry to use that terminology, but really that's all it is. It's just a bunch of dancing without substance. We really just want somebody to pull our puppet strings every time we go up in the church and not necessarily have to face ourselves and grow. So I think that's something that's very relevant to this environment that people who were directly and indirectly harmed by the attacks in Orlando have to face. That in times like this, we are still emotional, but still have to face the fact that we have limited spaces to go, and places like Pulse and Pride events are supposed to be those places where we can come together and to grow. You know, a lot of people condemn public spaces such as clubs and nightclubs and theaters and whatnot as the place of the devil and temptation. But first of all, none of that change is based on the physical presentation of the space that you're entering in. So, but a lot of us go to these places to experience that same feeling of witnessing testimony in a club as people who go to the church. That is a sanctuary. Just like when you go to a yoga studio, that is a sanctuary. You are witnessing protection and love and procreation in a different language. And so when we talk about public spaces such as Pulse and other gay clubs, where people with different experiences and realities can unite over this one thing, just as a Christian denomination, people with different experiences and reality can unite over this one thing. You're coming together not just as humans, but as spirits in order to grow. And these people lacking that connection to their communities through one of the deeply rooted places of connection in the community through spiritualism, through religion. A lot of us have neglected our spiritual practices and have not allowed ourselves to grow because of that. It was for a long time. I felt like prayer was off limits to me because of what I experienced in churches and because of the fact that I did believe what I believed about duality and polarities and at the same time oneness and wholeness and whatnot. And for a long time, I wouldn't even sit down to write thoughts which were affirming because I believed being affirmed was just not of access to me because of the way affirmations were being stripped from me and told that I didn't deserve it. I shouldn't even want it because I lived my life in sin and all I did was be. I just existed. I lived through what naturally arose in me. The same way they would naturally arose in them to provide such a distasteful sermon. But I'm rambling, but here I go. God has already placed within you the potential and protection to do you. That is why you are here. Promises between you and the Great One, should be confidential. Because it is between you and you. And that was meant for you and your spiritual potential to grow. So when people try and make, religion or spirituality this, what their religion or spirituality, and they try to make it this thing for everybody, just understand that they're taking something very personal and probably most of all not applying it to themselves. And that's why and how it becomes problematic, because something very personal becomes this thing to try and harm the self in order to hurt others. That's not relevant. Oh, here's one. Because you do a lot of different things in your own way, which works for you. People who despise your healing need healing themselves. Hmm. Hmm. Look, I write stuff, I'll be in completely different mental states. So I'm just going to read it. People who despise your healing need healing themselves. And I do believe that this means that you two should not try and heal together. Two, just because one person has poor coping mechanisms or they have coping mechanisms which are not working for them, it doesn't mean that you cannot adopt those habits for yourself. Because everything ain't for everybody, but it might work for you. Three, remember misery loves company. So try and shelter yourself. 4, don't complain. Hmm. Um, I can't read this, but 5, keep your secrets to yourself until it is time to turn them over. You know, I do believe, it's everything comes to the light, in time. The secret is but a truth which is not observed. So let's keep it to yourself until it's time for that secret to grow into whatever it shall become. Here's an affirmation that I reminded for myself because I have a habit of way of giving away my personal power because I am such someone who believes in harmony. If anyone into this, my sun sign is Leo, my moon is Libra, and so is my ascendant. My ascendant is also Libra. So I have this inclination towards at times being such a pleaser that I lose sight of myself. And oftentimes I don't really know where I stand until I experience great opposition. I don't just mean a little bit, I mean a lot. Like you have to really offend me for me to know where I stand because I'm just so like, yeah, I understand. That makes sense. Cool. Um, and again, this space is to open to anybody. If you wish to comment, it's open to you. If you wish to share it, if you wish to engage, it is completely open. So please come on and help me. you know, like I said, this is as much for other people as it is for myself because when I found out about it and I saw the headline, like my father just said, "Oh, there was a shooting in Orlando, what you know about it?" And I didn't know anything. I had been completely like on a media blackout for many many hours because I was in Philadelphia traveling for the Philadelphia Trans Health Conference, and I needed to say battery life, blah blah blah. So I wasn't aware, and so I once I saw the headline, gay club, I was shot up. I'm just like, I don't want to know about it. It's too much because I was just in a place where the entire time I was there, while I felt safe, I also felt extremely vulnerable because of the fact that it was such a large gathering of so many non-conforming people. Um, and that it fell on the same weekend as the Pride events, so I was extremely fearful, but I was trying to do my best to be okay being on my own. Um, so again, about observing personal power, I deserve and possess the right and the power to determine who I am, whether this is through self knowledge, such as realization, learning, or through self determination, through setting a goal and going for it. Because I know who I am. I am limitless, and in being limitless, we are all the same. This is the one thing that I know to be true. I own my body. I own what I do with my body. I will have no shame. I own what I think about my body. That is my fault. Whatever I'm feeling is my responsibility. I own what I welcome to myself and others with my body. That's just making a claim to say I own this space and I own what I do with it and what I create with it. And because of that, nothing can harm me. So as long as I am owning that which I am in tune into through recognition and ownership. If somebody says to me, "Hey, you offended me with your body, you took up too much space, or you hurt me, you undermined me," I own the fact that I did those actions and I recognize that it had a certain result. And from there, I can only reconcile whatever it is that I'm, available to reconcile and what they will allow me to share in that space with them. This is a message from my higher self. You want me? You got me. That makes it 200%. P.S. And I am a weed smoker. Yeah, I was thinking about quitting, but um, this has nothing to do with that. So I'm gonna put that over here. Are you here to learn? Then dedicate yourself to your healing, to the actualizing of your best self, or are you here to continue to go in the same circles, aka run from the challenges, to not heal, to not face yourself? Hmm. Hmm. Interesting. This is not the stack I thought. I think I mixed up my stack because I had a stack that was literally just all affirmations. But I'm sorting through it, and I apologize if I'm taking up too much of your time. Um, that's not it. Yes. Again, another reminder today. Start by refocusing your energy positively, followed by reconnecting in the spirit on your growth positively. Be reinforcing. Remember, when you truly love and want something, how long it takes does not matter. Always stay true to oneself. Hmm. These are the secrets to my soul. I know you want to say this, a child. Faith, meditation, and prayer. To have that as a practice, to create a sense of transcendental, spiritual unity, to have faith, to have meditation, to have prayer, is to have control while being, while levitating, essentially, while recognizing that you are a spiritual being with a physical body. And you're just somewhere out here in this magnificent realm of just space and a projection and mentalism. And to have a practice of faith and meditation and breather and prayer, it allows you to put the whole world on pause. It allows you to put on pause the media and to put on pause what they're trying to attract, to put on pause the fear and the worry and the dissension, to put on pause the terrorism, the trauma. And when I say terrorism, I am not referring to Muslims, to Islam. My brown people know who I'm referring to when I say terrorism. Because what the media does are terroristic attacks upon communities of color, upon groups of people they call minorities. You know, I'm not a fucking minority. The fuck is that? Um, to put on hold, to even just completely lose the attention and focus of fear as a medium through which they try and control people. We have to recognize that the powers to be, whether they're human or not, are very aware of how much value there is in the potential of human energy. And you have to be aware of how they try and pull that energy through the attention of your awareness. And fear is one of those awesome mediums of control because that's when you create energy in excess, all this adrenaline. It allows you to, if anyone has watched Dragon Ball Z, all that aura you see just flowing off the characters as they power up, that's what can be generated in fearful energy. And when you tune into that stuff and follow it, you're breeding with it. You are having sex. You are procreating with that type of energy that they are using. They are sucking it from you. They are using it to make you more malleable. They're using it to control you, to get you sucked up in the matrix, in that realm of this physical reality, to make you forget that you are without a mind as much as you are with one, to make you forget that you are a spiritual being and that you are of light. They do this to control you. So having a practice of faith, meditation, and prayer will save you. It will heal you. And I'm stressing that because, again, as transgender people of color, a lot of spirituality has been denied to us. We watch all around us, our white counterparts embrace yoga, embrace saying namaste, embrace certain parts of other cultures while at the same time deny it. And as well, the same within the black church, we watch them embrace our creativity, our buoyance, our light, our sunshine, and all our endearing energy. And the times we say, "How you doing?" Or, you know, that's not necessarily ours. That was Wendy Williams, but to not, I don't even know who knows where she got that from. Read. They will take our emotional energy, our emotional ecstasy. They will say, well, I don't like your sin, but I love you. But at the same time, do you realize how much of that sin has made me? I am free to be myself because I have sinful sex. I am free to share myself with you and be vulnerable with you because I am vulnerable with my partners who honor me, who do not judge me. I am able to come to you in confidence and in ecstasy, and you feel the vibrance of my energy because I allow a freedom of uncontrollable urges coming through me when I do have this soul shaking sex with my sinful lovers. So you can't say you hate the sin, but you love me. If you hate anything that I do, anything that I am, anything that I have been or am being, you just hate all of me. You can't say I love some parts of God, but I hate the others. Either you love it all or you just do not. Otherwise, you were just picking what allows you comfort for yourself, and that is very selfish. And I'm going to say I'm the first person to tell you being selfish is not always wrong, but if you are taking it to use it as your own portal of resourcefulness, but not allowing that same awareness to come to others, and you are denying people parts of themselves and parts of you because of whatever. You're not loving God in totality. Again, you can't say, God, I love some of you, but I don't fuck with all of you. You can't say that. You can't say you love God, but you hate sex. Who created it? Where does it come from? What was the purpose it was given to us? Why do we use it? And there's so many reasons to use it, and procreation goes beyond creating children. You can create children in a business. You can create children, life that you nurture and grow and mature and inspire wisdom unto and in through yourself through so much more than just sex and the creation of a child. Humans are far more capable and responsible for so much more than simply procreation. We are not animals simply meant for the use and purpose of breeding, and even animals are here for more than just that. They do so much more than just have children and raise them. They offer so much more to this land in energy, in mind, in value, in spirituality, in their senses than which we are currently engaging in because we're so focused on the physical reality of their existence. Maybe they've got something right and we've got something wrong, you know? With that being said, being, focused, we have to be aware that everything we do must be a conscious act. As creators, we have been gifted with the voices and visions of gods, and we must be mindful of every world that we create. So when you are speaking hate and you are speaking distaste and discomfort and disgust, you are creating pockets of realities in which that energy exists. And we have to be mindful of what we create. We must create in order to lead. We must create to be more resourceful. We must decide consciously which words we will speak to our inner ear, because when we speak, when we say God is in all things and you speak, hey, God is listening to me, and it's going to reflect to you just that. You're going to continue to find contempt and distress and discomfort. When you speak, you are listening to yourself, and you listening to yourself read other motherfuckers. You listening to yourself speak through your consciousness and the way that you engage with the world. You're listening to yourself speak based on the energy and the vibrations which arise in you, and you are going to procreate that energy. You're going to create more of that energy with other people. Sex happens outside the body. Sex happens even outside the mind. It's not just about physical touch. It's also about the invert insemination of this principle or unprincipled realities which we create in our minds and we affirm and we lead in. We will speak to our inner ear, which hears every thought and idea, and that becoming our mantra until the all provides. Meaning, we're going to hear it, the all is going to hear it, and it's going to recognize that, and we're going to repeat it, repeat it, over and over again until we finally allow that to come to fruition. So we have to be mindful of everything we are creating. And so when you are speaking to people, you find a discontent, and you say I hate or I don't like or I don't wish to acknowledge, you are ignoring pockets of yourself. You are ignoring the ability you have to ride and transcend the things which you currently believe and to accept many different variations of yourself. So when you deny people, you are denying yourself. And sometimes that's okay. Sometimes you just have to recognize I am not at that place in my journey to accept that. Just say that, but you don't have to express discontent for people. And I know I'm speaking to supporters and lovers and not the haters, but we all do this at times, and as well, we need to understand and be able to uh, interject with honest dialogue outside of trauma and pain to say, hey, what you're doing doesn't just affect me, you're affecting yourself negatively. And I'm more concerned for you sometimes than I am for myself. Um, Next one is no talent, skill, or behavior is out of reach of your potential. There is no limit to the human or spiritual possibility besides those that are imposed by the mind. Or sometimes you are reaching new heights and new levels and you can't even acknowledge it, but you are. But you are. You are doing it and you are enjoying it and you don't even realize it. Now, this doesn't mean it's your fault or that I'm blaming you. It just means that you just need the tools to know and the tools and to know how to use them, because where you are right now in your life, you were not meant to stay. You were meant to come here, but you were not meant to stay. You were supposed to move on because you got to keep ascending. You were not meant to stay completely grounded, but you were not meant to stay completely ungrounded. But wherever you are at, you were not meant to stay for eternity. No, no. Eternity already is. You don't need to be eternity. Eternity is already itself. You can't fulfill its purpose and its promise. It is already fulfilled. Another affirmation that I wrote: I know that one day things will change. I will make changes that do not have to be justified. I just have to answer to you as I then to answer to the gifts you have given life to with your word. I thank you and I rise. Hmm. I am writing this down because there are parts of me that feel alone, ignored, desecrated, isolated, and misunderstood. One, it's okay. Two, create the space in your world that you seek in others. Three, others' feelings about you do not have to be made into your own. Four, I am fine as myself as I am now. Five, keep your secrets to yourself. Respect yourself. This one, nothing is really that simple, but all you have to do is follow the steps naturally. Hmm. So what is this? Here's another example of an affirmation. Again, I'm just providing what I hope to be tools for someone who might forget, might have forgotten, how to do things and why to do things, when to do things. And I'm just hoping it inspires within somebody the will to continue. Although right now we are faced with the contemplation of why even go on. Look at the road. It never changes. We continue to do this to ourselves from one example to another. We continue to fuck it up, but I think it's what is most amazing is that we have continued to move on. We have continued to grow. We have continued to inspire. We have continued towards ascension. So even with all of that which we experience, which is not always in our greatest light, we are trying as a humanity, and there is support in this world for us. There are beings literally who have traveled from other realms to come see us, to come visit us, to come and partake in our wealth, in our inspiration, in our cultures, in our language, and they dance with us. They are inspired by us, and they take that back to other realms, and they sit around and they celebrate the findings with themselves, and they think, "Oh my gosh, I want to live there in that realm." So continue to be your best, most vivid, beautiful self. So I wrote this as an affirmation. I'm Xavier Hogue, and I practice health, you know, my versions of health and wellness and holistic healing through speech and movement therapy, through mentalism, through practice. I own myself and I own peace with my body. I own peace with my art. And all things I do is where I continue my practice of that which I value and love, which is positive body image and interpersonal alignment through my uh, and through my work and myself. I am able to empower others. I am able to empower my clients. I am able to inspire the masses, millions. The millions and millions of people are not beyond my reach, and I am rewarded by them taking pleasure in themselves. Because why? I took pleasure in myself first. I just want to live in belief of myself and to live in belief of those placed in my immediate surroundings, belief of the tools which have been provided to me. I love all of me and I love all of you as well. 3 points to engage in is to utilize consciousness, such as writing and sharing that with others as well, and to believe wholly and to keep effort alive and to keep faith. There's more notes to myself. It's something I wrote, I guess, in recognition of what was happening at the time. Today is great. And this is not in ignorance of all that which is happening around me, but it's to say, even still in darkness, there still exists light. Whether or not I am in a space of recognizing it, whether or not I have oriented myself towards it, there exists in that room light somewhere, somehow, and I have to be that beacon to seek and to exude positivity. Today is great. I accept new possibilities. I listen to my heart and my gut and synchronize with my breath. Every day is yoga, truth, teaching, lessons. Free your high standing ability. Be brave. Journey on, man, and play. Choose to let that song play however it may sound because it is real music. And I have a little jingle right here. I guess I was singing, it's all right now, it's okay. Just sing it to myself. Know who you are. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Who said that? Points if you can get it. Points for what? I don't know, but it's cute to say that. Let others define for themselves what they need. You do not get to decide that. But you, as yourself, get to decide what it is you are comfortable with. Nobody can change it unless you allow it. You decide. So let me see. Yes, yes. Yes, yes, y'all. So those had nothing to do with that, and this was the same thing, not related. Um, Again, I write a lot. I keep a lot in my mind, but I wanted to be in a space to be able to share with you all some of the tools that I've used for myself. People ask me all the time, like, how do you get to this place? How do you do that? How do you achieve this? And some people get offended when you really don't give them a clear, concise answer, but a lot of it is just do it, imagine it, and if you can imagine it, it can be real. How that saying go? They can be miracles if you when you believe, and that is the absolute truth. Some of it doesn't come in the timing that you think it should, but there absolutely are the presence of miracles happening all around you. I think the fact that I am a sentient being and in existence is a miracle in and of itself. The culmination of so many different organisms which create who I am, which create this manifestation which you are seeing. The fact that we can connect through this interspace, which we can't touch, we can't put our hands on, but it allows us to come into alignment, is amazing to me. That in itself is a miracle. Can you imagine the time where there weren't even phones, so you didn't even know another world existed, before there were boats, before people went from one place to another and they were just wherever they were and that was all there was, and that's all they knew, and that's all the world was to them, and that was how they created it in that perspective that there's nothing else but what is here right now, and there were no very little thoughts about consciousness, about growth, about psychology, about the somatic systems, about the connection between the mind and the body. There wasn't conversations about the characterization of transgender spirits in the human body. There weren't discussions about the spirit outside of the body. There wasn't discussions about something existing outside of the mind. Because I believe that to be a miracle in and of itself, that we have mentalism in this way to where we continue to grow our understanding of ourselves, and we continue to inspire our language, and we continue to inspire ways of life, schools of thought, and modes and methods of purpose in all of our actions and our academic and explorations into ourselves. And so I believe that you, as a queer person, are extremely resourceful. You, as someone who celebrates the self, you are extremely inspirational. The world moves because of you, whether or not those who wish to remain ignorant wish to be inspired by you. You know, even the people I don't like, I promise you I love you. You know, even the people I just cannot stand to be around, I swear to God, I love you. I might dislike you, but my God, you were created from the same dirt, the same earth, in the same water. You were created from the same air. I cannot hate you, for I would be hating myself. And I try my best to limit the amount of hate and decision in myself. So I want to thank you all for being here, for having watched this, for giving me the inspiration to engage. The reason I am here and still presenting myself is because of you. And I'm not doing it for the acknowledgement. I'm doing it because I want to, because I love you, because I love myself, because I'm tired of watching myself suffering and other people, because I'm tired of watching them suffer while nobody does anything but pulls out a camera and records, because I'm tired of knowing that I'm suffering but not sharing that so other people can become in tune to me and to allow me to grow beyond this moment of awareness and this presence. So I continue to do this because I am hoping to move into a place where we are continually engaging in moments in which we are activated in self-awareness and in growth. So I want to thank you. It is 9 o'clock. I have to go somewhere, but again, I appreciate you. I appreciate you for tuning in. I appreciate you for being yourself, even though we are separate people. I'm happy to encounter you. I am grateful for your growth. I'm grateful for the responsibilities you have taken over yourself. I'm grateful for you correcting your mistakes and the fact that you have recognized that you have ever made them. I am grateful for the fact that you own up to yourself. I'm grateful for the practices which you enact in your personal life with your friends or your family or by your motherfucking self, because it makes you a better person. I am grateful for the fact that you do have secrets which you keep to yourself, because you know it helps you protect yourself and to stay in the ground in which you are needing at the moment that you need it. I'm grateful that you do things to help you protect yourself. I'm grateful that you put yourself out there and make yourself vulnerable. I'm grateful for the fact that you embrace the light, whatever it is for you, because I need your presence as much as I need someone else's. I am grateful for the fact that you go out here and you don't try to do anything to help nobody. Sometimes that's just as important, because if you know you ain't got nothing to offer nobody, thank you for not giving tainted energy to a motherfucking being, okay? Thank you. I appreciate the fact that you are here right now to attuning to your spiritual growth, regardless of the fact of how you are seeking to engage with it. The fact that you are here in this physical presence, in this spiritual realm right here, right now. We all came here to ascend in one way or another. We came here to learn a lesson. We came here to burn up a practice. We came here for something, and I thank you for being here with me. Thank you. You are a part of me. Your contributions make me whole, and for that, I continue to grow. So thank you for not being selfish and keeping your real liveliness inside of yourself. I thank you for nurturing yourself through your practices. I thank you for seeking to find stuff that, although sometimes you find you're never finding it, I thank you for seeking that outwardly and inwardly. I thank you for speaking up to the people around you. I thank you for holding your tongue. I thank you for sharing the space of other people's, and I thank you for shutting them down at times. I thank you for being your motherfucking self. I thank you for wearing a mask when you've needed to. I thank you for the things that you believe within you are disgusting, but I thank you for knowing that they exist too. I thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We are here. We are here. I believe in you. And you are so motherfucking special. The house needs your help. And I thank you for taking care of my needs through your own, for recognizing yourself as something motherfucking special, for calling yourself a queer unicorn, for not identifying as that if that's just not you. Thank you, you little fairies and princesses, and you frogs. Thank you. And I just want to put it out there, all love for the fats and the femmes, okay? Thank you. I even am thankful for the people who have detransitioned themselves and have decided to live life as whatever they choose to. Thank you. I respect you. I'm aligned with you. Thank you for taking care of your own motherfucking spiritual growth. Thank you. I've been needing you. Whether you are aware or not, I'm putting it out there. Thank you. So again, for Orlando and for all of the intersectional communities which were affected, we are in alignment. Don't be tainted by what is going to happen. These people who go out there and create these caricatures are media specialists. They are assassins of our character. But we know that which is real and true will always naturally be inspired to grow. The energies of this world will always support us. They will always support us. They will always support us. So continue to go, be real, be live, be special. And I mean that in general. Continue. Do you. Navigate this world in this space freely. You are protected in millions and millions of realms. So just because you've left this one doesn't mean you didn't continue to ascend and to grow. You are. There are many people that no matter what you do will continue to live in this unity. People who, when they see beauty, seek to create damages. Sometimes that's needed. Sometimes we need to reimagine things. And so these people naturally, like viruses in an environment, very naturally viruses tend to grow. It's natural. We can't completely eradicate them. We need them to help us. That's how we create antibodies, by being exposed to chaos and disunity. So somewhere in the world, their role is extremely very special when they come in and cause disruptions. Don't be deterred by this. Look outside of the physical world and see the wisdom contained in that act of violence. Continue to take bear witness to see how we as a world community continue to unite and to grow. Continue to see how we've brought vision to the minds which remained closed and were once were blind. Continue to see how our acknowledgement and our wishing to continue also allows dead weeds to be transformed and to grow. Continue to hold your position. Do not want or seek for acknowledgement. Simply be yourself, and you will receive, and you will continue to grow. I love you. You are very, very powerful. You are very special, and you are very needed. Because even though you don't know who's witnessing you, you are being witnessed. You are being watched, if not by the whole world, then by yourself. Do it for yourself. Then if you can't find somebody else to do it for you. Do it for your own need of protection. Do it for your own need of being able to witness this type of love and unity. Do it for your own need to connect and to grow. Do it for your own need of transcendence. Do it for yourself then, if for no one else. Because regardless of somebody supporting me or not, I'm going to continue to grow. I'm going to continue to grow my beautiful garden. I'm going to continue to explore the mountains. I'm going to continue to soak in the sunshine. Whether or not someone says, hey, yo, that's beautiful. That's amazing. That's powerful. Regardless. So you continue to grow. One day, maybe that curious person will happen upon you, and they won't pick your flowers. They will simply sit next to you and partake in that need for healing, that growth. Allow your flowers to be watered. Allow your spiritual healingness to grow through speech, through movement, through action, through thought, through engagement, through ideals, through how you interpret that which you are witnessing. Allow yourself to continue to grow. And I promise, I will be there for you. I will be there to help you continue to grow. Because I'm growing with you. And communities support one another. You go out there, you see all those plants and those trees. It's not because one was able to grow that, they grow on their own. They support one another. They provide a network for one another. They provide strength. All of them matter. And so too, all of them are protected. So even with the events that have happened, continue to speak, continue to share, continue to love. Do not hate. Do not fester in disappointment. Do not adopt their languages, even to counter their thoughts, because then you become a part of that same wavelength. You become a part of that seesaw to go up and down with them. So why do you think you're transferring the energy? You're just on it with them. Operate in your own realm. Take a part in your own message. Create your own broadcasting system. Create schools of thought of your own unities and your own knowledges. And forever, whatever which has been provided to you will continue to grow. Because again, you are special. You are needed. And I am so in tune to you. And I'm thankful. I love you. Well beyond this earth. I love you. I love you. From this moment on, nothing will remain the same. Nothing will remain the same. We're entering into a whole new world right now. So hug as many people as possible and continue to move on. Hug as many people as you need to. Don't worry the personal relevance. Do what you need to grow. The universe supports you. You are acknowledged as you continue in your healing and growth. And just for the record, I got this hat from Jason Robert Ballard. I have this affinity for black and white. And right here it says FTM. I don't even really care for that identification. I just like the hat. But I also like to fuck with people's minds too. And I like to make people question. I like to make people think. There will be more disasters. There will be more wishes of people to disrupt us, for us to come out of alignment. Keep your focus. Don't worry of exaggeration. Don't worry of exhaustion. Just continue to grow. The world is limitless. Peace and love to you. Grow.